Final Fantasy VII has such a rich lore and story, in large part due to the fact that Final Fantasy VII is its own franchise separated from the Final Fantasy name. And because of that, we got so many questions answered from the original Final Fantasy VII that we've been wondering for ages, like where Zack got the Buster Sword, or the origins of Sephiroth and his early days as a soldier before he turned evil. But there's some questions that to this day we don't have answers for. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about some of Final Fantasy VII's most popular conspiracy theories and see if I can try to solve them myself or at least give some type of answer. And why not start off with a light one, alright, just to ease ourselves into it. Everybody is dead. Okay, I should probably clarify. So we all know the ending of Final Fantasy VII. We kill Sephiroth and we free Holy, but then the live stream has to come out and lend a helping hand, but we don't see what happens after that. The last thing we see is a bright flash of light followed by Aerith's face, then the credits. Now obviously we know that everybody survived because of Advent Children, and we even go as far as Dirge of Cerberus, with that being the latest game in the timeline. But it's not the latest point in the timeline. You see, at the very end of Final Fantasy VII, we have an end credit scene that takes place 500 years later after the end of Final Fantasy VII, and we see Red 13 and his kids running around until we get to a cliffside that overlooks a ruined and abandoned Midgar with no signs of human life. Now obviously after 500 years, Cloud, Tifa, Yuffie, they would all be dead many centuries ago. But what I mean by this is that human life as a whole has gone completely extinct. Now what could have caused this? My best guess is that despite them finding a cure for Geostigma, it couldn't be fully controlled and it spread across the whole world, eventually killing off everybody on the planet. But I could have been completely wrong or something else, and maybe everyone's just happy and moved away from Midgar. But regardless, it's an interesting theory. Up next, we have the theory that the Final Fantasy VII remakes are actually sequels of the original Final Fantasy VII and not an alternate universe. Now, I've mentioned this theory many times and it's the one I believe in the most, but why? Well, let's go over what sequel theory is and why I believe it to be true. Sequel theory is the theory that the events of Final Fantasy VII Remake are all placed after the events of the original Final Fantasy VII because Sephiroth found a way to travel back to the beginning of Final Fantasy VII through the livestream, and with the knowledge of the past events, he will make sure that he succeeds in conquering the planet. That's why in Remake, he appears much earlier in the original game, and he appears to know way more than in the original. He has us kill the Whispers to make sure that our fates are not set in stone, and that at the end of Remake, when we get to the edge of creation, we get a sense that this Sephiroth is not the one from the timeline that we're currently in, and we have labeled this version of Sephiroth as Omni Sephiroth. Sephiroth who is omnipresent. But we also have Aerith. Now, this one's a little bit more iffy, but it's theorized that in the intro of Final Fantasy VII Remake with Aerith's face, it's actually the ending of the original Final Fantasy VII where we see her face, and what's theorized is that she's actually seeing the events of the past in a separate timeline, and she's giving the knowledge to try and save the future. That's why in Final Fantasy VII Remake, she seems to know way more than she's letting on. But we find out a lot later that she's lost her memories of what happened when she talks to Red, and we can see that with the empty white materia. Because white materia is powered by memories, since it's empty, she now has no more recollection of what happened. But we also have another Aerith that's able to give Cloud a full one, and we have labeled this Aerith as Omni Aerith. Shout out to Maximilian dude. And this Aerith, in my own theory, is the Aerith from the original Final Fantasy VII in the livestream trying to help the gang beat Sephiroth. Now, I think this makes a lot of sense, but nothing has been confirmed about anything about the alternate timeline stuff or about remakes at all, so maybe part 3 will finally give us an answer to this long question. Up next, we have a bit more of a funny one. I don't know, maybe it's funny to you, I don't know. But Cloud is actually President Shinra's 4th secret son.
You are the father!
So as we all know, President Shinra has a son named Rufus, who takes over as president when he is killed by Sephiroth. But many people may not know that Shinra had a second illegitimate son, Lazard, who is seen in Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. And even less known is that Shinra had a second bastard son named Evan Townshed, who we see in the novel The Kids Are Alright. Now, there is a theory that Cloud is the third bastard son of the Shinra family. Now, there are a few things that support this theory, but very loosely, like Cloud and him share the same hair color, but so does Cloud's mom, Claudia, so he probably just got it from her. But what really drives this theory is two things. One, we never see or hear of Cloud's dad, so it's just assumed that he's just a deadbeat who gone for the milk. Or, the more popular theory is that since Shinra Manor is so close to Cloud's home, Claudia and President Shinra met up one time, did some A few months later, little Cloud was born, and Shinra just decided to never visit or take responsibility for the son. So he was never linked to the Shinra family name. I don't think this is true at all. I think it holds no fucking ground at all. But Shinra having two bastard sons is canon, so why not make it a third at this point? Come on, man. The next theory I think y'all might be really interested in, and it's that Kingdom Hearts is canon to Final Fantasy VII. Now, if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, you'll definitely know about the Final Fantasy VII characters all around the game, like Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, Yuffie, Cid, Sephiroth, Zack, oh my god, I think they got all of them. And to most, everyone just thought these were cool side things that had no canon to the original game. Now, while I'm not sure about the other Final Fantasy games, there is a theory that all of the events that happen to the Final Fantasy VII characters are canon. Now, the popular theory is the reason that they're showing up is because of the live stream, so they can somehow appear in the Kingdom Hearts world. But specifically, the whole story with Cloud chasing Sephiroth while Tifa's trying to save Cloud is taking place during the same time at the original game. Now, I'm not sure because Nomura hasn't confirmed anything, but it's interesting to think about. Up next, we have one of my favorite theories. Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy X take place in the same universe. Now, what makes Final Fantasy as a franchise so interesting is that it's an anthology, where each game is its own separate universe completely disconnected from every other game, but they share similar elements, kind of like the Persona series. But there's a theory that Final Fantasy X actually takes place thousands of years before Final Fantasy VII, all because of one character. In Final Fantasy X-2, there is a character named Shinra. We already see the connection, but if you talk to him, he talks about using the life energy from the planet and using it to power cities, but he did mention that it would be centuries away. And if you're familiar with Final Fantasy VII, that idea sounds very similar to Mako and Lifestream energy that Shinra uses. And in Final Fantasy VII Remake, we see a massive picture of the founders of Shinra, and look who it is, a man in a similar mask to Shinra from Final Fantasy X. And what's interesting is that when asked about this theory to the devs, the answer is always different. Kitase said that yes, this theory was correct, that both worlds exist in the same universe, while Kazuhige Nojima says that they're nothing more than small anecdotes that have no real significance. But Kitase made Final Fantasy VII, so I don't care, theory confirmed. And finally, the last theory, and probably the most popular one, is that somehow, someway, Cloud and the gang would have been able to save Aerith. Now, this theory has been around forever, ever since the original 97. But what sparked my curiosity is that in the original game, there's key art of Aerith standing next to the Highwind. But in OG7, she dies before the gang ever gets it, so the theory started there. And one of the theories is that all of the party members had to reach level 99 before the death scene to block Sephiroth's sword, and multiple theories list specific items that you have to get, like certain amount of items or materials, like 99 tissues. But throughout the years, there have been no definitive way to bring Aerith back to life, and the only time we ever see her in gameplay after death is in the church one time when she appears as a ghost. And I think it's so interesting that people were so upset about her death that there are so many fan theories about her and how to bring her back till this day. But I think that's exactly what the game was trying to do. The whole theme of Final Fantasy VII is loss and how we deal and grow from it. And I think that Aerith's death was the perfect way to show how everyone reacted to her death with denial. And the fact that we're still trying to bring her back almost 30 years later is just poetic. And there we go. Those were some of the most interesting theories that I could find on the game. If you want me to discuss more of them, please let me know, because there are a fuck ton that I didn't cover here. But those are the ones that I thought were the most interesting and most worth talking about, and the ones just that caught my interest the most. And that's really all I have to say for today, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, turn on notifications, comment down below, and hold on, I gotta do this real quick. Oh my god, bro. Holy crap. We got to 10,000 subscribers, guys. Thank you so much. I could not have done it without you. Y'all, I don't even know. I have no words. I have no words. 2 years ago, I started this channel just to get my thoughts out on not just Sonic, but things I like in general. Look at us now, bro. 10K subs. And this is, again, I keep saying this every goal. This is only the beginning. We're gonna go so much higher. We're gonna reach 25K, 50K, 100K, maybe a million. Who knows? I want to thank y'all so much. I could not have done this without you. And damn, man, holy fucking shit. But man, that's really all I've got to say for today. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'll see y'all in the next one. And I think y'all are gonna like the next one. It's a bit of a discussion post, but we'll see.